So, first look, gorgeous dewy skin.
I love dewy skin.
I know, it's my favourite. Okay, so always make sure you put on enough moisturiser. If you don't put on moisturiser, your makeup will just look dry and flaky.
Yeah.
It's not going to give you a gorgeous dewy skin.
It's like a mini facial.
I know. But that as well, like, will get your circulation going and bring blood flow to your face and make your skin look better as well.
Let's just do this for the whole video.
So next, this is an illuminizing primer. I would more use this though because it makes your skin look gorgeous, not because it will make your makeup last. Your foundation does cover it a little bit, but it still comes through. Enough of it comes through. The thing about foundation as well is, especially for a dewy look, you don't want anything too heavy. Okay, so with your foundation, obviously there are lots of different ways that you can put it on. My favourite way was with a brush.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, the most important thing with foundation is that it's the right colour. So always test it first, because if your foundation colour is off, then everything is off.
How many squirts would you put on of foundation?
I put on 2 just there, and I'll probably use a tiny little bit more.
Yeah.
But the key is to build up small amounts and buff it in rather than getting a big blob of it and just, because as well it won't last as well then.
See, sometimes with concealer I end up using my fingers.
Yeah, like that's not wrong. I just think that concealer, I think that most things last. Fingers are great for blending, but I think that most of your makeup would last better if you put it on with a brush. Do you know what I mean? Like you can apply the concealer with a brush and then use your finger to soften it, that's grand. And I'm not saying fingers are wrong, like fingers are great to blend stuff, but I do find that if I'm doing my own makeup, say, and I'm just, not really going anywhere, so I'm not making that much of an effort, so I'll just use my hands, and it definitely doesn't last. Okay, so the next step is your concealer. Some people do their concealer first, which I don't get personally, like each to their own, but I just would always put your foundation on first, even things out like that, and then add little bits of concealer after that. So again, with this, you want to put on enough. I find like people don't put on enough, and I want to be careful about saying that because you don't want them to put on too much, but just look up. You want to just get right into the inner corner and underneath your lash line. And just close. Put a little bit on the lid as well.
Why do you do that?
Just because it evens out the skin tone, and then again it will hold your eyeshadow a little bit better. It's a good base for your eyeshadow. And then after I've done your concealer, I just get my foundation brush that we've already used and just now softly blend it, because you don't want to wipe away what you've just done, but just softly. I always use small circular motions.
Yeah.
And just blend it in.
I think the key to a base is just not loading it on it.
Exactly.
It probably looks like we're loading stuff on, but it's actually not.
No, that's what I mean. It's tiny amounts of everything.
Yeah.
Really blended. Just look up. Okay. So the next step is powder.
Yeah.
So we're going to set what we've just done with the powder. Now powder is absolutely necessary.
Yes.
For day-to-day makeup. So the key with your powder is tiny amounts and build it up. Same, again, small circular motions. And as well, when you, say, cover your brush like that, tap off the excess so that you're not putting on too much product onto your skin.
Okay.
So it's the same as like what I was saying with your foundation. Just close your eyes. And your concealer. You're building everything up rather than putting on too much and then having to try and tone it down. Really, really, really light. Like really lightly touching your skin, small circular motions, but really buffing it in and working it in everywhere. Because again, I know when I say this to people, they say they don't have time, and I get it, but the less time you spend on it, the more time you're going to have to spend touching it up. So you might as well give yourself the time, spend an extra 10 minutes or whatever on your makeup, and then you won't actually have to fix it throughout the day. Just close your eyes. I always do the eyelids as well with the translucent powder. Again, just because you're thinking about your eyes, when you're going to do your eyes, it's a good base.
Okay.
And then just any other areas like your T-zone.
Just the bits that get really shiny.
Yeah, because there's a difference between dewy and shiny, you know, so you have to be careful, like around the nose, forehead. So again, underneath the eyes, obviously you don't want a lot of powder because it's such a delicate area, but there's not a lot on that brush. I'm just smoothing it out, and then I would always get my ring finger, just look up, and really lightly pat it in. Look up. And that's another thing, like, you know, as the day goes on, if you like, I'm only 30 and I find that the powder sits in my lines.
Me too.
So I just get my ring fingers and just lightly, just look up.
Rub it.
Like more like dab, like if it settles into the lines, just clear it with your ring finger. It'll still be enough on so that your makeup looks perfect, but it's just not gonna have settled in your lines. Next I'm gonna do a little bit of contouring.
Mm-hmm.
Contouring though has been around for like as long as I can remember, but people seem to think that it's a new thing. It's definitely not a new thing. I'm not into the cream contouring thing. I think, like, for me that's too much, so I always use a powder.
Mm-hmm.
Again, tap off the excess. So if you think of where the sun would naturally hit your face, so around the hairline, down your nose, and then for definition we're going to go along your cheekbone. So if you use your ear to lip line as a guide, so around the hairline, down onto your forehead. Then I would go down either side of your nose, and then on the tip of your nose. Again, like you can build it up, but like...
And that just makes your nose look what?
Smaller. Yeah, so basically anything you shade is making it look smaller, anything you highlight is making it look bigger. So if we're shading under here, it's bringing your face in, and then highlighting here on the cheekbone, it's bringing it out, so it's giving you that nice shape. But then I'm bringing it underneath your jawline as well. So again, I'm shading it, so it's going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you don't want to use anything too big or too wiry. Like, brushes are so important. Without good brushes, you can't do good makeup. So next I'm going to highlight. So remember what I was saying, highlight on the high points. So we're going to highlight along here, your brow bone, like the tiniest bit on your cupid's bow. Like, again, I'm always sort of hesitant to say that to people because they get carried away. You never want people to see your makeup before they see you. Like, when I do somebody's makeup, I want the person to look like themselves and to just get lots of compliments on how well they look, not on how well their makeup looks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think you should sort of be wondering what it is about the person that looks so good, not going, oh, she got her makeup done.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, with blusher, like anything else, just small amounts and build it up. Because, or if you do put on too much and, you know, you want to tone it down, get a big brush, just your big blender brush, and just blend it.
Okay.
That will soften it. So yeah, big smile. So you want to apply it onto the apples. Now you do want to sweep it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember when I was training, somebody told me it's like a Nike tick, so it's like this and then slightly up.
Oh, okay.
So more of a sweep up. So big smile. Onto
So
the
you're
apple.
more, you see, I think I go too much down there.
Well, again, like, think about, you don't want anything to be too low down in your face. You want to lift everything up, you know.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing it down here, it'll drag your face down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with the contour. Some people do it down too low and it's not very flattering.